Hey everyone, welcome to an extra special bonus episode
Oh
of
my
Pointless
gosh.
Discourse with myself, Apocalypse, and DPayne.
Hello. I was wondering, like, should there be like a fun name for these ones, like PD minis?
We could do minis, but most people say After Dark, but I don't really like those.
Because we record all our podcasts in the dark.
Pretty much. It's just consistent all the time.
Would After Dark kind of be when we record on the Saturday morning? Because it's no longer dark. I know that's not what it means. Daywalker.
Yeah. I think minis are fine. Or extra thoughts, you know, because we can't fit them into all the other thoughts that we already have.
Pointless thoughts. Yeah. Well, the whole point of this one is to keep these episodes tight, as we say all the time, and then normally we go over. But now we learned the technology of keeping time. But this whole idea came across as a certain movie came out that linked with a series. Was it last year? Or was it 2 years ago that we did it? I think it was last year.
I believe it was last year.
I think, yeah.
Because the year before that was the brackets.
Yes. But we did a series of
everything in the Alien and Predator universe and everything in between.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At the time, Prey had come out.
Yes. So actually, that would be a really easy thing to do. Prey 2022.
So it was
2 years ago. Oh,
what did we do?
What did
Halloween?
we do last year? Gravity Falls.
Oh. Because
yeah.
Was it Bracket, Over the Garden Wall, Gravity Falls, or Alien, Gravity Falls?
Yeah.
And then Courage.
Yeah. Well, there was also Better Off Ted.
I thought Better Off Ted was in like Thanksgiving-ish. Like that awkward October, end of October to Christmas.
If only we had a whole big random spreadsheets of everything recorded.
I don't think I have a spreadsheet for Better Off Ted anymore. Sometimes I clean it up.
Oh. Well.
I also don't think I tracked recording dates then either.
No. Oh yeah. No. It's here. It's in current topics, where we had gummies, personality quiz, and then Better Off Ted.
Oh, see, like that wasn't even
Predator.
Halloween. But yes, so we started the Halloween that year.
And that's when we did Sharktopus, and then we did into Is It Christmas? And then we started Gravity Falls. And
so Gravity Falls was the new year, not Halloween.
Yeah, it was the following year, and then...
Oh, yeah, we did Tremors after Gravity Falls, ? Yeah, Anime Halloween, ?
Yeah, which is really funny that that's still there 2 years ago. That'll make sense later. Any poops. But yeah, so...
Oh, Christmas Halloween.
Yes.
Christmas Halloween.
Christmas Halloween. But we bring this all up because a new movie has come out to the Alien franchise, Alien Romulus. And so I don't know, we really didn't talk about it too much of what we actually want to do, except like we're going to set a timer in a bit that's going to be full spoilers. But I guess for people who don't want spoilers, we could
I will say, if you like Alien 1 and 2, I think you should watch Romulus, and you don't need to watch any of the rest of the series.
Yes.
Any other comments for non-spoiler?
It was enjoyable, and the frequent listener that went with me to go watch it, I found out at certain scenes that she never watched an Alien movie.
They were... I guess for warning for anybody who is uncomfortable with... Okay, so, alright, this is not a spoiler. In the first Alien movie, there's a lot of metaphor for sexual assault. It's a lot more in your face and marvelous. So if you are not someone who feels like it's safe for you to watch that kind of stuff, don't. And I say that not that like it's people versus people, but if you've seen the first Alien,
Yeah. I just remember there's a shot, and I'm like, I didn't realize that thing was so long.
Yeah, I think I physically winced, and like in the first movie, it's implied, but they don't have a special effect for it. And then in Romulus, the noise, and then when it crashes against the glass.
So anyway, but no, this is a real enjoyable movie. It takes place. I don't think this is a spoiler either, seeing how it's within the first, like, it's advertised that, and within like the first 30 seconds of the movie, that it takes place pretty much directly after the first movie and before the second one, I believe. And yeah, I guess just a quick synopsis of it is that a group of kids, or at least young adults, I don't know. They all look like they were teenagers or 20-year-olds.
To me, I think I would guess they're between like 19 and 24.
Yeah, like college students. Mm. But they were on a colony planet, and that they're trying to leave, and pretty much this abandoned space station comes by, and they're like, we can go up there, get these sleep pods, these cryopods, and we can go to this planet to where we don't have to mine anymore. Because Wayland is, well, they be doing what they be doing best, which is
corporate overlords, baby.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it doesn't go as planned. Like, some things probably should have just, not have been touched. And I'll have to say, like, there's some stuff I will save for when we do our spoil talk, but I think a lot of the monster designs are really neat. There's a lot, the callbacks.
The reveal. I was like, this is so much scarier than the prequels. Mm-hmm. I don't like, and for anyone who has watched the prequel trilogy and didn't really love it, I believe Ridley Scott is just a producer on this one. It was written and directed, I believe Strider told me, by the person who did the movie that continues the Evil Dead remake series. I didn't watch any of the Evil Dead revamp, and I didn't watch the continuing movie, but I might, because I did like Romulus.
These guys did Don't Breathe, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. At least that was one of the writers.
Okay.
And then they got one of the people who was a writer for the original Alien and Aliens, which, hey,
checks out, baby.
Yeah. Which some of the scenes in here, I'm like, they knew. But
it does feel like a movie made by people fans of fans of like the core franchise, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think a lot of the monster designs were pretty neat. I think they made some monsters that are like, I felt like the face huggers were a lot scarier in this one compared to
they don't
previous iterations.
The rest of the series makes face huggers seem kind of like a mosquito almost, where they're just there to get their job done and then they're dead. In this one, there were some moments that I saw where I was like, I'm pretty sure I can see the strings on that one because they like moved a little stiffly. But again, not to get spoilery, but the quiet scene was very tense. I think the biggest thing about this movie is they nailed atmosphere, which was really impressive because they managed to do both open space and claustrophobia back and forth over and over, and it was done well, which you don't see in a lot of sci-fi movies.
Yeah, and just like it showed it, like it also showed like the intelligence of these people. Like it showed the intelligence and the
human flaws.
Yes.
You should know better, but at the same time, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and then between that and then just like certain character, like I'm blanking on his name, Andy. Like, I don't know. I think he's one of my favorites.
He is a very fun iteration on the Android legacy.
So,
it's much better than two guys trying to kiss each other that are like maybe the same person but not.
speak. I don't know.
In any case, what excuse are we going to use to roll dice? What number? How many Alien movies have we watched now? We've watched the two trilogies, so that's 6. Romulus 7, and is it 2 AVPs?
Yeah, so that's an 8.
A D8.
Do we get to roll a D8? Oh man, I don't have my D8. But hey, I think this will be a good transition before we go into it. We'll say right here, guys, we're gonna go into full spoil talk. So
be warned.
I will say for people who want to leave now, like, what would you? We can give our rating. Like,
I think when I left the theater, I think I said 7.5 to an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I think this was. I would agree. Like around I was thinking like an 8. Like this would be one I wouldn't mind watching again.
I wouldn't mind owning this one. I'll say that much.
Mm-hmm. I own all the original ones. I had the box set.
You have 3?
I should.
Oh, if it was a box set, that's fine. I wouldn't go out of my way to buy 3.
No, it wasn't a box set. I just don't know where the box set is.
That's
all my
fine.
box stuff used to be up there. Wait, is it?
Surprise physical media in this day and age. He's slowly wheeling around. His chair is spinning for any audio listeners.
I almost sat down and I realized my chair was not where I left it. Yes, I have Alien, Aliens, Alien Cubed, and Alien Resurrection in this Blu-ray collection. The Alien Anthology, which is stuck.
It's holographic.
Yeah. It's also... Maybe I don't own it because I can't open it. Oh, wait, there we go. It was stuck.
You have a case, but no DVDs.
Yeah. No, it's like, it comes out like a little book.
Oh, that's fun.
And then here's
little
the disc.
art pieces.
Yeah. So, I think this was the first time I opened it.
Wait, where did you watch the Alien movies when we did our series?
I streamed it.
Oh.
So... Alien 3 times the terror. And then what's the tagline for Resurrection? Witness the resurrection. Okay, that was boring.
That's just the title of the movie.
Yeah. And then the Alien. Wait, I got the making of the Alien Anthology. Oh, that I like watching. I got a book too. Anyway, let's put it this way.
Yeah, so we're going to roll dice. I don't know what the dice will determine. I guess who gets to go first and chattering about all our spoilery thoughts and our back and forth. There is going to be no specific plan because we just thought to do this.
Yes, and yeah, it is time for spoils. So if you guys are still here and you're like, oh, I didn't want to know that, that's too bad.
You've been warned several times.
All right, and I'm rolling.
I rolled a 3.
I rolled a 5.
All right, kick it off.
All right. Do we just want to share things that we liked, or do we just, I don't know.
Yeah,
what?
That's fine.
Oh, let me start the timer.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time. We gotta.
Yeah.
We spent 14 minutes on the intro.
Yes. Okay. Timer started. So, I just remember when I did this last time that you were like, why'd you go right to the end? So I won't. I really like the opening.
The opening was really solid. It was, I don't know. It feels like a long time since we've had like a cool title sequence where you have like the opening credits, and it felt really integrated and set the tone for the movie well. And I think it did just enough information for the viewer so that when you end up on the abandoned space colony, when the kids are on it and they're like, this is weird, and you're like, oh, they're on that one.
So yeah, it was just like I don't know, just like the noises, the sound. I'm like, as soon as that started, like I had like a smile on my face. I'm like, oh, Alien.
The like fax machine noises.
Yeah, just like doot, doot. Just like the internet is starting. But I just remember sitting there just like a big smile on my face, and then I'm like, afterwards the frequent listener was just like, yeah, I'm like, well, that first beginning part is a direct reference to
it's like a
the
required,
first the first movie, and so yeah, that I'm like, yeah, that's where that's from. I think it's shorter than than it is in the Alien.
Yeah, but I think I didn't realize it, but I love clunky sci-fi for some reason. Because I know their technology is meant to be rough. Like you said, someone has argued with you about, like, the early trilogy is all bright white colors because it's, like, from the Wayland Corp perspective.
Yeah.
But the Mining Corp perspective is just so fun because it's, like, it's so smart, but the user has to be, like, use such tactile means, and they're just like, please let me do things, and the computer's like, eh.
Yeah. I just liked how, because it felt like it just referenced a lot of the older movies, but then, like, just stuff from, like, the video game as well, which I'm pretty sure also referenced, like, things where it's just like, to open up a door is a
so
pain
loud.
in the
It's so
loud, but it's just like the opening thing, like when they go up to the space station and it's just like shook, 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 and then they're like, then they have to, like, press a button. Andy has to, like, put in the key code.
Yeah.
And then it's just like they chose, like, the whole, like, the spiral eye door. There's like whoosh, and you're like, don't go in there. We know what's in there. Those spiral doors, you're getting eaten.
I really like the other thing I really like about basically the whole, I guess, the introduction to before all the horror kicks in, is that the setup made so much sense to me as to how all the scary bad things started to happen. Because we've watched a lot of horror movies at this point in recording, and we've watched some especially bad ones, like the Christmas ones, and a lot of them are just like, I woke up and there was a scary elf and now it's killing me, and I'm like, how did we get here? Whereas in Romulus, the kids are like, give me sleeping pod. Oh, there's none in here. There's got to be a cryo bay. Oh, there's the cryo bay. Weird. It's leaking water. Whatever. We just need this and we get out. And it triggers the whole course of events. And, like, when Andy's standing there and watches all the face huggers, like, defrost, I was like, you weren't supposed to defrost those for dinner. No, don't defrost those. Those are so bad for you.
Yeah. And it's just like they don't know, because it is like...
They wouldn't. Why would they? Yeah.
It is a highly, like, corporate secret that it's like nobody knows what's going on here.
Yeah. I do like how the main female character walks on. She's like, why is this abandoned? And they're like, I don't care. And she's just like,
oh, Rain.
Bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the IMDb up, so. Another thing, like, before we get onto the space station part, it's like, I feel like this one really showed the miner life. Like
which we don't get in any of the other ones.
Yeah, because it's just like, I worked all these hours to leave, and she's like, I want to leave with my brother. And then it very, like, early on shows you that Andy's just not, like, it almost
100%, yeah.
Yeah, well, it didn't feel like it was an android, a synth. Like, it felt like almost that. It almost felt like it was setting up, like, as a special needs, like, person, and then, like, all of a sudden it's just like, oh wait, no, that's like a really old synth, and
he's like barely like barely updated with the latest software and everything.
But then it's just like, just how Wayland Corp is just like, oh, sorry, it all went up, like, your hours are now doubled, like, aka you're never leaving here. So
yeah, because what was it? She hit like 5,020 hours, and they went, "Oh, there's a new directive. You actually need 10,000. You could probably leave in like 6 years." And she's like,
5 to 6 years. Yeah, and she's like, really? And that's why she goes and joins the other thing.
All the character setup was wonderful.
Yeah, like, it's like, why is this kid a jerk to Andy? He's a sweetheart, and then you're like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good. Like, even, I think another thing I appreciate in hindsight, without, like, realizing I appreciated it, we didn't have those stupid monologues like in the prequels where people were like, you want to know why I'm this way? Well, this is my entire life story.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever, creepy android. We didn't ask about why you were bored on a planet by yourself and you decided to start splicing DNA. This is... I didn't ask.
It was cool, but we didn't need to know.
Whereas, like, in this one, everyone just has, like, tiny character moments and, like, little hints of things. And I'm like... It's like when the one girl, she's like, don't tell anybody I'm pregnant. I was like, special character. If you've watched any Alien, you know she's a special character. It ended up much worse than I expected. But special character.
There was a moment where I'm like, oh. I'll wait till we get to that. Because there were some theories and I'm like, it still could happen. But yeah, it was definitely show, not tell.
Yeah. And
which
like,
was neat.
Yeah, and I really liked how there were just really tiny interactions with the characters. Like when they were going to launch, you could tell that the first character that gets face hugged and the guy that hates Andy have a relationship, but you can't tell like how close they are or whatever. But the way they interact with each other in the beginning makes sense for why he reacts the way he does when shit hits the fan.
Yes.
And they didn't have to, like, have them making out or, like, have them confessing, like, you saved me, bro, and, like, all that cheesy stuff. It's just, it's like the first Alien, where it just feels like people
the connections feel genuine.
Yeah, they just feel like a bunch of people stuck together through shitty circumstances, getting put through even shittier circumstances.
Yeah, which I think the smaller cast helps with that.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, but we can keep rolling along. So like, yeah, there's the ship. I thought like how the like moral quandary that Andy has, like between his old directive and his new directive, and like just that whole thing where he's just like, I have a new directive now. Like it was just interesting.
I mean, the whole reference to the half an android being set up was it was fantastic, except sometimes the animation they try to do on the face, depending on the angle of the camera, I was like, oh.
Yeah. But I was just sitting there, I'm like, oh, Bishop, hey, that's what they do in the third. Like, as soon as they, like...
pulled them out, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, there's somebody that was like, are they going to do the thing from 3? Like, the only cool part of 3? And then it's just Bishop. You're like, it's Bishop. I'm Rook. You're not Bishop. It's like, you're supposed to be a friend with that face.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool that they had the android, of course, had the moral quandary alongside with the human characters constantly having to debate. Is one life worth more than the others? Back and forth.
Yeah. But yeah, as we mentioned earlier, face huggers felt like way more of a threat. Because like even in the prequels, like it just felt like they were mainly a vehicle to get the alien there. Which it still is, but like...
they give them more screen time.
Yeah, and it's just the threat of all of them in there. I feel like another one where the face huggers are more of a threat are... like besides the first one, because in the second one I think there's just one there. Yeah. But I think in Resurrection, face huggers like were more, like they were like, okay, in the goofy one of Resurrection, it's still like we need to figure out like how to make sure we're safe and all that stuff. Like they were still kind of a threat, but in this one it's just like, oh, like normally it's just like hide in the shadows, jump at you. Like these ones are like an army. They're like, they're pissed off.
And I liked the like emphasis of just trying to avoid this situation in the first place. Because as soon as they defrosted and it turned into like the I'm trying to think. There's like other scenes from other movies and video games I think of where stuff is flying at you and you're just like swinging, hoping that you hit whatever it is that's like speeding at you. And it was just really like a cool, tense moment because you're like, who got? And you're like, okay, they got out, but they're not going to get out because it's an alien movie and there wouldn't be a movie if... if someone doesn't get got. And I think the ramp up of that was all done really well. The sounds were disgusting. Mm-hmm. I think all the sound design was really good. Because even in the very beginning, outside of the terminals, just everything was so quiet, loud. So it's set up for you to just be anticipating creepy noises. And then you have all the skittering and all the, like, the wet noises from their appendage.
From their bits. I will say one thing I did like, which I can't remember if they mentioned this in any of the other ones, is just how the facehuggers hunt them down. Where it's just like...
Yeah, I don't remember that being explicitly said, but I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, where it's like it's
they have no eyes. They have no ears. So well, they have ears, but...
It's all body heat and...
noise.
Well, like emotion. So like, and it's like subtle noises as well. It's just like you got to keep
your heart rate changing.
Your heart rate changing. They're able to they're
not
able
have goosebumps.
to goosebumps. I think they're like, if you start sweating, they're going to sense that, and it's just like these things are almost scarier. Like they're not. It's like I don't know what's scarier now, like the face huggers or the or the xenomorph, because it's like, but yeah, so they were doing all that, and but yeah, it was just like, I don't know. Like I think I saw somebody say like these face, like, and I agree with them, is like the face huggers in this movie are way angrier than they are in any other movie. But I will say I do like the tech where it's just like when they're just being chased in that one part when they're like when the dude's sister, Kay, I think that's her name, is like being hunted by the xenomorph, and she's just
the radio call.
Yeah. And like as like that was the other thing where like that's when Andy's like no, we gotta stop Navarro. I think that's her name. Like at the girl that was infected, and like a synth just like gotta hunt her down, and like that's what kicks off all of that. While she's like, nope, chest bursters coming out and all that stuff, and but just like how the dude drops the keys and then like the spacecraft flies into the other side of the ship.
Oh, that was really cool.
And I'm just like, that's really neat. There's no way they're finding those keys. She's dead. She's dead in that planet in that thing. There's no way they're getting out. But then it does, and like that was a tense scene as well. Like it's a double tense scene where it's just like the xenomorph is in
back
there,
and forth,
yeah, and then they're being chased. But I thought it was neat how like he lights the torch and just chucks it, and
to
all
skitter them. Yeah,
and they all go in there, and then there's like a handful who's like, wait a second,
that burns. That's not people.
Yeah. But then at that time it also shows like the change, like Andy's new directive like coming into play, where he's just like, you almost locked us in there. I didn't. I did the math right. And it's like, no, what are you doing? Everything turned out fine. Let's go. And it's just, I think it's there or shortly after where she's like, what's your new directive? And it's like, I have a new directive. And
she asked what is your directive? He's like, for the company, and she's like,
yeah, she's like, I need to get that trip out of you. But yeah, and then let's see, there was that, and then there was like one more big action piece, like when we got like kind of the more classical like alien stuff. Well, I guess two more action sets where it's just like how do we get rid of the xenomorph, and like that whole thing, and it's interesting. Like they would have died if Andy didn't have that update.
Oh yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah. There
were a lot of moments without that update. Andy would not have been able to like
and then
come up with stuff.
Yeah. And then it's just like and then they found the magic goo and all that other stuff, and then it's like, here's the gun, but never shoot. It's just scary. It'll be scary to them. It's like, I don't think that's how that works. But and then they get through like the gravity well stuff, which that was pretty neat.
It is nice that they set up the gravity stuff in the very beginning, as you know, for viewers. It's like, hey, heads up, there's gonna be some weird magic happening later, and then they're like, oh right, we have the gravity.
Yeah.
And I was like, did they forget it resets because the elevator is up and they're down, and that's not gonna.
Yeah. It was like one of those things where I'm just like, the xenomorph's actions didn't make sense to me. Where it's just like, I'm gonna hold the main protagonist against here and look menacingly, and it's just like, you never did that before.
Yeah, you just kind of ate people before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing that I know confused Strider and I were like, we understand that the xenomorph that was like lost in space from the original Nostromo basically like put itself into a hard shell and was like barely alive.
Mm-hmm.
But how did all these other aliens survive X amount of time with so many dead bodies that they've in theory already drained and birthed from? Because they try to do like the skittering like 30,000 aliens, which made for a cool gun scene because the gun was cool. But we were like, why are there so many aliens still on here?
That was one thing I was like, okay, like it just felt like one of those things where like honestly, I guess I can get into a couple theories I had where I thought this was going to lead directly into 2. So I thought, I was like, they got the mining planet right there. Mm-hmm. It's like, this thing's going to crash. Like, somebody infected is going to live. And then, like, that's how, like, the chest burster or, like, somehow a face hugger gets there. And that's just because, like, if you remember Aliens, like, the setup, like, the mining corporation looks very similar. So where I was like, okay, is this going to lead directly into 3? I mean, into 2. Because it's like, there are a whole bunch of xenomorphs. They have the face huggers that could make that amount of aliens. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, we didn't see enough of that mining facility to know it's in there, which I guess technically there still could be the chance, seeing how because how did the off camera crushed, which is still like, oh no, it's not a confirmed death, but it's like the way they destroyed the space station. But the other thing I was wondering is like, okay, like, especially when Kay, the girl who was pregnant, injected herself with that stuff, I'm like, is this the birth of the next mother, like the alien mother?
I thought it was going to be Mother, and it turned out worse than I expected.
Yeah.
That thing was gross. I will say, just as a heads up, we're a little bit past the 30-minute total mark.
Yeah. I got
since we had our intro.
Yeah. I had the timers here for 10. I don't know. Like, I guess we can just close with, like, I don't know. Was there any theories? Like the ending was good. It's your typical alien movie where it's just like first act. One female
protagonist, and then, yeah.
And then it's like, is it done? No.
The monster design for the big final baddie was so gross that I was like, please don't let it start asking to drink milk from its mother, because I would probably throw up if it used its second mouth to like try to like attach to that poor girl. Mm-hmm. But I was just like, its back was gross, and like, I feel like it's almost what I wish they did in the not with the prequels, but the way I wish they had done that in the original Alien series. Mm-hmm. If they were gonna do the whole, we're trying to make a bigger, scarier version of the alien. That thing is bigger, scarier, and in theory is gonna get smarter than like the aliens you have out there right now.
Yeah,
because then it'll understand people on top of having all the alien things.
Yeah, it reminded me of, I forget what it is, like the baby or like the alien from Resurrection. Like there's Ripley, and then there's that other creature, and it really felt like that was a prototype of like the perfect fusion, because it felt like this one. Like, because there's like, it's the goo from the first from Prometheus, and then it's like, oh, this is when they're like somehow they got. I'm like, that's a lot of goo, but yeah, but that's the thing that those vials are still out there. So, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just like. The thing that I'm confused about, which I guess could still happen, is because in the second movie in Aliens, Ripley's like, you went and got it, and you kept doing stuff, which it's like, I'm wondering if the original xenomorph is somewhere else, and this one that they found was one of the ones that, like, in their experiments, like the one that was like kind of like splayed up in the ceiling. And so, but then again, it's like that line could still hold true because Rain still has the vials. Like, to my knowledge, she doesn't get rid of them. She's just like, they're still here.
Yeah, the only thing she did was turn off the autopilot so that it wasn't going back to the corporation. All to piss off not Bishop.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, like, we've seen so many times where, like, the corporation still finds it. So, like,
yeah, the corporation is like unceasing on its want to control alien DNA, no matter how many people die and how many times it gets worse for them. And I remember when they first opened the movie, I leaned over to Strider in the theater and I was like, when will Wayland realize this is a terrible idea? You need to just you just need to leave it. Never, of course.
Never.
Because immortality and all those things.
I still like the theory that David's still in control. Like, he just sends his mind to different bots.
Yeah. And then I will say I think I was a little surprised at the way it ended. I didn't expect them to be able to destroy the entire space station. I thought the cliffhanger, as they do in a lot of like modern movies now, I thought the cliffhanger was going to be that she finds a way to deal with it, but we don't know if it's confirmed dead. Granted, we don't know if it's confirmed dead, but there was an asteroid belt, so if it survived, you know.
Yeah, I thought they were going to end up going back to the planet.
And then then the baby.
Yeah, and then there's like the baby, the transformations, and all that stuff was going to happen. Which, to be fair, like, from what we've seen, she could still be alive, and like she could still, like, yeah, it showed her drained, but it, to my knowledge, it wasn't a
there was not enough time to check for heart rate. That's correct. I think my favorite part about the scene leading up to, I'm remembering now, I really liked the part where she kind of realizes something has been birthed out of her friend, and she's going through the cargo hole, and she sees the footprints rapidly growing as it's like going across the cargo bay. And then I think Strider pointed this out, and it's also a really nice touch, where they kind of introduce the characters as being like, I've never been to space before. And a lot of the main characters are like, how ship, like,
yeah.
So when she needs to solve the crisis of this mutant creature coming after her, she's reading instructions. She's like, I have to do 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of neat things. I'll be interested later to watch. I don't know. See, as like more people and I guess not embargoes or more theories come out, because I am curious to see if there was like
more connections.
Yeah, like connections. Like, yeah, we watched all of them, but that was a while ago, and we only watched it once. So like
we didn't take massive notes.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you do like this director, I would not be opposed to us doing Evil Dead watch through to end up in the
next
takes.
thing.
Because there's the 2 Evil Deads, Army of Darkness, the reboot, and then the continuation from the reboot, which I believe is this director, like you said.
Yeah.
So that's a good old 5-movie segment. We love segments of movies. Not that... Oh, they're not all directed by the same guy. I was going to say we could put Sam Raimi, and then we could watch Emo Spider-Man, but...
Well, there's 3 movies there. Interesting. This has a Metascore of 64. I don't know how the Metascore works. Any poops.
Anyway, it's a good nostalgia trip.
Yes. Good movie. If you guys like the other Alien movies, it is worth giving it a shot. Then
My niece said she watched it in 4D. I would not enjoy that. I don't want to get spit on by facehuggers and by aliens.
Oh, I was like, what the heck is a 4D?
The seats move, and I think they spray you with stuff.
Oh.
Because I know a lot of people are going to watch the Twister movie in 4D.
They just get hit by a cow. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed, I don't know, it's really funny because, like, yeah, PD Mini, it's still
40 minutes.
It's still like close to a regular episode. But hey, we got
I gave my warnings. I said I gave my time warnings.
I know. And that's why I tried to close it and then we just kept going. I did stop. But we learned that maybe a 30-minute timer isn't the best to have. Maybe a 20-minute one for future stuff. But yeah, if you guys like this, let us know. We wouldn't mind, like, if there's movies out there that of previous episodes that we watched.
Or recommendations for any movies that are in theaters. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we can figure it out and get it set up. But we're going to call it here because, well, we have to record another episode. So, I don't know when this is coming out, but enjoy whatever episode is out. Peace.